Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner? I'll get it right one of these days. Good evening. Happy Monday. And welcome to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. You know, I like my little Paris flavor in the picture because I could be anywhere else but here, and preferably in Paris. Today, we're talking about there's so much going on in this crazy world we live in. I'm telling you, it's got my head spinning. There's some things I'm going to talk about later on after I bring my guest on because I don't want to get my feathers ruffled, before I have an interview that's on a very positive up note. But the city of Louisville, in our news, Russia, Lord have mercy. I think they need to find a way to deal with this because they are just killing people for the heck of killing people. I want to send a shout out to Miss Brittany and let her know that over here in the States, we're rooting for her. Just like a lot of people said, if she was LeBron, she'd be home by now. Could be. Could be, but I didn't understand the guilty plea and the finessing of it all because Russia's like the Republicans. They cutthroat. I don't know about how much finessing you're going to do somebody that's cutthroat. Remember I talked last week about, are you paying attention to what's going on and happening to us? That you cannot go to a fight with a butter knife. But on that note, I'm going to rail it on in. This evening, we have a young man here who's the creator and the president, the CEO, the co-founder of Reviving Urban Neighborhoods. Please, I present to some and introduce to others, Mr. Brandon Hill. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, good evening, Miss Janice. How you doing?
I'm wonderful, sweetheart. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay.
All right. Brandon, I do remember being in one meeting with you.
Okay.
During the 50th celebration for the Dirt Bowl.
Yes, ma'am.
And it brought me back. But, the other week when we met and I saw you and I spoke to you and looking at you like you my friend's son. I thought you was my friend's son, but you weren't my friend's son. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So name's Brandon Hill. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Married with a family of three young children. I'm a graduate of Indiana University.
R.U.N. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm also a Male graduate. I know that matters here. Louisville Male High School graduate. And then also, I'm an Air Force veteran.
Okay.
I'm currently an IT professional for the Louisville Water Company. I'm the Louisville City Coordinator for the DeVos Urban Leadership Initiative. And then I am the Executive Director for Reviving Urban Neighborhoods.
All right. So tell me about Reviving Urban Neighborhoods. How'd you come up with that name?
We wanted to find something that was all encapsulating. So the reason we started it was twofold. We was coaching at Central High School for a few years. My co-founder Isiah, Britt, and I, we were coaching, and we noticed that as coaches in that demographic, we had to be more than coaches. It was more than basketball. We had to be father figures, big brother figures, mentors to the student athletes, and the parents in a lot of instances. A lot of resources that were available to the students, especially going into college, the parents had no knowledge of. So we had to work with them on a much bigger scale than just a basketball coach. So we kind of came up with a tagline, bigger than the game. And we always related sports and how it can affect you and how you could use it for the betterment of yourself. So going forward, we was like, hey, let's find something where we can affect not just these 15 kids or 30 kids, whoever, however many's in the program at Central. Let's do something where we could work with kids overall. And then it kind of
All
spanned to
over the
the
city?
yes, ma'am. And then it spanned. We was like, we can also use sports and entertainment for adults to lure them there. So at Central, we always said that basketball was the carrot to help the kids to get there, that draws them in so that we could teach them about life.
Right.
And we also wanted to do that not only with the children, but we wanted to do it with the adults as well, because we noticed that those were the people that were the influencers, the main influencers on those children, on those
Right.
teens. We could
Right.
tell them everything, good to we're black and blue in the face, but they was going home to their main influencers. So let's
Right.
help them out as well, so that
Right.
you're hitting the children and that, so you can make real change. So we wanted to use that to revive the urban neighborhoods. Um, and that's just kind of how we came up with that tagline, reviving urban neighborhoods and run for short.
How long has it been in business?
So we founded reviving urban neighborhoods in 2017.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I know that you were talking about that it started, the idea came from working with the kids at Central, but now your outreach,
Yes, ma'am.
having the organization, the outreach, how do you reach the kids? How do you set up? How do they come to you? Tell me how it works.
So we use different events and leagues. So we'll pull them in. Like we're forming a youth league next year where we're going to pull them in that way. And we're also going to work with mentoring the youth coaches to let them know what resources are available for them. So we always lure them with sports or entertainment, and then we give them whatever we need to give them, like whatever resources that they need. So if I have a kid that's struggling with literacy, I'll be that bridge to bridge him to, say, the Decode Project, who's a children's literacy organization,
Okay.
things of that nature. So we want to help that way. We also do it with adults. We have the R.U.N League, which actually starts tomorrow, where we pull in guys young men from 18 to 35 from all over Louisville, the Louisville area. And we draft them. So you don't have like with the Dirt Bowl, you have like Newburgh, you have neighborhoods versus each other. With this
Right.
one, it's the opposite. We have them put in their zip code, so we don't have like all of Newburgh on one team or the East End on one team. They all blended in. So now that
Right.
they're building relationships, and then we're also bringing in those resources. So we'll have like a voter registration day. We'll have Goodwill come in and talk to them about expunging their records. We'll have job
Okay.
recruiters to come in so that they're educated on what resources are available for them.
Where do you all have these? Where do you all have the meetings? Or
So this year, the R.U.N League is going to be at Mid America East. We typically like it to be further downtown. We started off at in Portland, and then we also was at Old Mill, out in Old Louisville. But
right.
now Old Mill, it wasn't available since the pandemic, so we moved out to Mid America East. But we'll be looking to move it back downtown next year.
Where is Mid America East?
So it's off of 265, off Stanley Galt Parkway, off the old Henry Road exit.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's a basketball facility out there.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. And so you say you draft people. So you just pick different people from different zip codes, put them together.
Yes, ma'am.
And they become a team.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So we have the coaches, they draft like the first 7 people, and then we fill in as needed. So like a lot of times the coaches are going to draft with basketball in mind, but then we always make sure that we leave some spaces, because it might be some young men that aren't as talented in basketball, but they need the resources that we provide.
Right.
So we want to put that cover, and we've had one guy that had he had suicidal thoughts at one time, and it helped as a brotherhood, or if somebody's just coming in from out of town, so we use that strategically in placing guys on teams.
Wow. Okay. So when you say, I remember I went to a few years ago when they had a basketball tournament. They had the Dirt Bowl champions from one year in Louisville play the Dirt Bowl champions from Lexington.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Was that you all?
That's not us, but that organization that are doing that is they work with us as in a tandem.
That's
That's
Young
the
Griff.
city league.
That's Young Griff's
Yes,
league.
ma'am. That's the Griff League, the city league. So
Okay.
how R.U.N works is we're the fiscal sponsors because we want to make sure that all that works and we all work together so that we can all work more efficiently. That's another way that we talk about reviving urban neighborhoods. We want to be examples for group economics and everybody working together, leaders working together. So we're the fiscal sponsor for the City League, Griff League, and they're bringing that back this year in August. They're actually planning that right now. They're going to have Dirt Bowl, the top 4 Dirt Bowl teams, the top 4 Lexington Dirt Bowl teams. They're going to have a team from Shelbyville. They're going to have a team from Hoptown, from Lebanon, and Maysville.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. So it's going to be the Kentucky City Classic, August 27th and 28th.
August 27th through the 28th?
Yes, ma'am.
Please make sure you remind me about that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because I'd like to be there for that. That sounds very exciting.
Absolutely. So we just want to support those and the Dirt Bowl as well. We're the fiscal sponsors for the Dirt Bowl as well.
You know, I like the fact that you say you're working with other organizations because that's one of the things, that's one of my little pet peeves that I have with some of the organizations here in the city, that we have to learn to work more closely with each other.
Yes, ma'am.
And especially when we're going after resources and funding, because the pie is only so big.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, so if all of you all doing that have the same mission or desire to work in the same area can get a lump sum that you can split up to make all of your programs work. It's better than everybody going after their own and getting just a little tiny piece. Absolutely. You know, we have to work smarter to get and come together on that funding plane so that it can be more beneficial. You can use more resources by saying, this is what we do. This organization does that. They deal with this age group. We're with that age group and move like that. But we've got the support of each other in doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I have to tell you, one of the big things, and we're going to get back to R.U.N, that I've always thought here recently that happened. The fact that 3 gentlemen came together to bring the name back to Joe's Palm Room.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's working together. The guy that owns Club Cedar, the guy that bought Joe's, and the guy that owns Joe's Palm Room name. They all came together. Do you know Butch Mosby?
I don't know him personally. I've heard about him though.
Nice fella for you to meet.
Okay.
That's a really neat guy for you to meet. He's very resourceful and he's out there doing things for kids. That's another resource for you because like funding when you want your kids to go somewhere or they need something. His organization, Sponsor for Success, helps raise funds for kids to go on field trips. They need books. They need, go to programs. He does that.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a really good one. So if you move back downtown, where do you think you're going to end up having it?
I'm not sure. I want to go somewhere more centrally located, Ms. Janice, where we're not necessarily deep in one neighborhood. Like when we was at the old mail location, I thought that was perfect because we were accessible to everybody within like a 15, 20-minute radius.
Okay.
It didn't matter where you were. So that's to be determined. It's tough because as far as gym facilities, there's not a lot, especially for adult leagues. Like with JCPS, we're not allowed to use those for adult leagues. With the youth league, that'll be simple. We'll be spread out throughout the city in different neighborhoods, 4 different neighborhoods, and then bring it together, for the tournament. But for the adults, we're still working on that. So,
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, so when you went to IU, what did you major in?
I was computer information systems.
So that's why you're in the IT department at the water company.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you like doing that job?
So we're live. All right,
I'm
I
saying, oh, I
appreciate.
must have asked a loaded question.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate the job. I will say that it's though it's not my passion. I would rather be working to help my people in the community full time if I could. To be honest,
Well,
completely
I
honest.
really think that you're on the right pathway. I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
your organization's been around since, so that's 5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
5 years to have a business that is continuously growing is a
Hmm.
big step. That's saying a lot because most people's businesses don't last but a year or two. I'm
Okay.
going on into my second year with this podcast. As soon as I learn how to work all these cameras, I got this one camera on my computer and get it going right. Okay, so now the youth, how do you recruit the youth, or do their coaches bring them in?
So we recruit people who are already in that space. So like
Okay,
when we did a youth program with Metro Parks and Recreation
okay,
in 2017, and then we was going to bring it back and then COVID hit, so we were just kind of forming that again. But we went into where youth already were. So
okay.
like everything that we do, we don't try to recreate the wheel. We try to support whatever resources already there. And that's part of our reason. Like we try to revive urban neighborhoods in more ways than one. So it's like, hey, if we get highlighted, these other 10 to 15, however many organizations or whoever we're using are going to get highlighted as well.
Give me an example of two or three of the organizations that you're using and how what they bring to the table.
So like one of the organizations is Joshua Community Connectors. It's like a rehabilitation
Okay,
nonprofit, and
okay,
they help you with jobs, and then Goodwill as well. So they kind of work in a tandem. The
okay,
founder of that, Kim Moore, Miss Kim Moore, she's a consultant for Goodwill, and she's the executive director for Joshua Community Connectors. So
okay,
she has that information working together for both of them. So
okay,
we want to use that. We've used the Urban League has came to our things. Kentuckiana Works. We've had the U.S. Air Force there. We had JCPS, Republic Bank, Northwest Mutual. So we just try to, Journey counseling services. So like we bring in like mental health professionals and everybody else, so that we can educate our people on what's available to them.
yeah, because a lot of times it is from a lack of information
Yes, ma'am.
that the resources don't reach the Black community because the information does not filter down and through as it should.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a big to do because the more information that we have, the better we will do. The much better we will do. We'll know exactly where to go to get what we need, when we need it, and how we need it. So tell me, what do you feel about the climate? I know we got a lot of violence happening in our city right now.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think needs to happen, Brandon? Because this is it's unnerving to me that it almost looks like we're losing a whole generation of youth. And what I've heard and hear is that our kids don't have any hope. They don't see themselves living past 18 years old. I mean, that's the craziest thought. But do you think that's so, and why?
I do think it's so in a sense, and I think it's so is because what they're exposed to. But I think a biggest thing that we're trying to change is actually exposing them to something different. Whether it's we want to set up tours where we expose them not to just colleges, because everybody's not going to be a
Don't
college
go to
student.
college, right?
We want to expose them to military installations so you can see what a base looks like. We've talked to United States Coast Guard and some other military things. So that's one thing that we're planning on. Also exposing them to trade schools so that they have options where it's like, hey, you don't necessarily have to go to college. A lot of times, and I'm a college graduate, but I also understand that you can make a great living without going into debt. College
Right.
debt. You can make a great living by doing something else.
Hmm.
So for us is to wrap our arms around the youth early and identify passions, so that they understand like, hey, it's not just about basketball. A lot of times in the streets, the guys that they think is going to the NFL or the NBA, they'll be hands off with them because they say, oh, you got a future, you're going somewhere. So we're gonna leave you alone. but this other kid has a future too, just because it's
Right.
not basketball or entertainment. So we want to identify stuff outside of that. Like, hey, you might like sports, but let's get you experience in refereeing. Let's get you experience in a PA.
Okay.
When you go in for like an NBA team, there's way more employees in the background than it is on the court.
On the court.
So
Right.
if you want to be involved, there's multiple things. You have physical trainers, you have this and that. So we want to identify those passions and then identify them with businesses so that like our teams can get internships. So now they have not only um, they've identified a passion that they like, that they love, but then they also have experience because a lot of times I've seen guys that go get scholarships, they graduate. Some of them will go overseas and they'll come back and get back in the streets because I was only
They
able
don't
to
have
make.
any skills.
I don't have. I got a degree,
Right.
but what's next after that? Because I don't have the experience. So let's mitigate that, and that's one of the big things about building that platform for reviving urban neighborhoods. Why we want it to be a grow is so that we can, even in smaller instances, if it's for 3 to 4 months, we can do internships ourselves with young men and women that would
Right.
like to come in and gain that experience. So now it's like, hey, what do you want to do? I want to be in multimedia. Okay, well, we do highlights, we do this, we do that. You can help us with our website. So now you have this, and we can build your resume. So now you can go out and get you a substantial job without getting in the streets. So
Right.
our thing is to try to find, um, identify issues up front and early,
Mm-hmm.
try to get them to those resources as soon as possible so that they're not coming into high school with a reading issue or a math issue or even a household issue. If it's something going on with the dad can't be there, they have organizations such as 291 that deal with that. They can help and assist with that for fathers who want to be in their child's lives, and that's very important. So let's get those with those resources early so that now they don't have these looming issues for the rest of their lives. By the time they're teenagers, now we're saying what's wrong with them.
Right. Yeah. I have in my hip pocket, I have a program that I wrote, but it's a paid training program
Okay.
because just like what you're saying, those kids that are not going to go to school, that don't have skills, that are not going to go to college, they're not ballers, they're not going to the NBA, they're not going to the NFL. But my approach is through the arts.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um, because I don't know if you know, but I'm a jazz singer
I
and
didn't
have
know that.
been, yeah. So for the past, okay, I guess I can say it. We live. I don't know who's listening, but for the past 50 years, I've been in show business.
Okay.
So I believe that I can teach artist development. And just like you say, it's performing arts. I'm a performing artist. I'm not a recording artist. When I do my work, I'm on a stage. So the essence of seeing me sing is to see me do a show. Okay.
Yes,
So singers, dancers, musicians, comedians, models, spokespersons. And just like that's in front of the camera, but there's also video production
yes, ma'am.
that goes along with that because all of everything I do, I have recorded. It's everything I do is filmed. So there's somebody that needs to film it. There's somebody that needs to know about lights. There's somebody that needs to know about sound. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes that
Yes,
can
ma'am.
still be involved in, like you say, that entertainment um, area. But I thought about it from the aspect of a paid program that in order for them to really come and leave the streets to come be in the program, because when you leave the streets, you're leaving your money.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you come to the program, we have to be able to entice you. That carrot you're talking about,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
carrot needs to be, this is a paid program. Just like Goodwill has paid training programs, wonderful training programs. I do a presentation called Dare to Dream for the Rise program at Goodwill. And they're doing wonderful programs. I never knew Goodwill did so much, for the community. But think about paid training programs for some of these kids. and think about how you maybe can incorporate arts. I'd love to work with you
Yes, ma'am.
on finding a way, because some of those kids you're talking about their passions, they might say, well, man, I like to sing and I like to dance, and you hadn't thought about that. And then I'm saying, okay, well, you say, well, I'll send you over there to Miss Janice.
Yes, ma'am. And that's our biggest thing, is sending them wherever they need to go.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like how you said, a lot of nonprofits, they operate in silos, because I want this money, I got to get this much money, this and that. It's like we can all lift each other up. And I think that's the beauty of what we're trying to do with the Dirt Bowl and the Griff League and R.U.N and everything else, is everybody working together so that we can share resources.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And I'm so glad to hear that, because even as I hear young Black men doing positive things, it makes me very proud of you.
I appreciate it.
And I wish you the best of luck with your organization. If there's anything that I can do to help, I'm there. But you need to remind me about the tournament at the end of August. Don't you forget either.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So maybe next time you can come back, and if you got something, when you get ready for the tournaments, come back and we'll talk about them, where they're going to be, how you get in it, or whatever, so we can promote it, so people can come out and see what's going on. How about that?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Well, Brandon, I thank you for coming on the show, but it's dinner time. Guess who's coming to dinner? Go have your dinner, darling. I'll see you next time.
I appreciate it. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
If you guys would like any more information on Reviving Urban Neighborhoods, you can find us at www.
Okay, hold on. Let me make you a banner.
Okay.
I'm going to make you a banner. Shoot, I know how to do this. Wait a minute. I think I know how to do it. I do know how to do it. Just give me a second. I got to bring my thing back. Okay. All right. Create a banner. And www what?
.RUNINC 502.com. So it's www.runinc502.com.
Yes,
ma'am.
Let me see. I put a comma. I need to have a period. Wait a minute. Just hold on. We're not in a hurry. I got my contacts on, so I can't see close up. Let me see if this works.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll let it run for a few minutes, so they can see it. www.runinc502.com.
Yes,
R.U.N
ma'am.
stands for Reviving Urban Neighborhoods.
Yes, ma'am.
We've had Mr. Brandon Hill, Executive Director, co-founder, and gentleman extraordinaire.
I thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, Ms. Janice.
Well, I thank you for coming on. After I saw you at the gala, it was like, I've got to talk more about his organization. People need to know you're out there, not just people that are involved, but people that might want to be involved.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Be well.
You too. Thank you.
All right, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's Mr. Brandon Hill from Reviving Urban Neighborhoods. Okay. So now I'm getting ready to talk about the media and how we are portrayed in the media and how the media uses certain things that are happening in the news that don't work to our benefit. So all I'm going to say to the media is, now, every time a Black man is locked up or goes to jail, you get a mug shot. You get a mug shot. But every time a white man gets locked up and he goes to jail, you don't get mug shots. You don't flash his picture all on the screen. So you need to make your mind up. You do it to everybody or don't do it to anybody. And don't use background props to sell a story or to sensationalize a story. We've got enough going on in our community that we don't need somebody else trying to make something look bigger and worse than it is. So when you report about Shawnee Park, do it for the park. Don't use other backgrounds in the park that have nothing to do with what's going on. I'm just saying. And on that note, it's dinner time. So go have your dinner. Bon appetit. I'll see you on Friday. I'll probably run this again on Friday because it's summertime. And I need a little vacation just like everybody else. So bon appetit. Au revoir. Here we go.